Hey guys, it's Liz. Welcome to my channel, Blue and Hazel. I do homeschooling videos here. And so the 1,000 Hours Outside challenge was started by Jenny over at 1000hoursoutside.com. And one of her goals for this program or challenge, you could call it, is to match screen time hours, which are just like huge nowadays with, kids, and match that with outside time. And so that's like her vision for this challenge, but also like your family's vision can be different. You can alter it to be what you want your family, and your why can be different, So if you're a screen-free family, you can still totally have good reasons to do this challenge. If you are not really worried about screen time, but you still want to get more time outside with your kids and make those memories, this could be a really great challenge for you. So we did it last year for the first time. I'm so glad we did, because tracking really, I don't know, it does something up here. It's like we broke it down to, it's on average about 3 hours a day. That is a huge amount of time compared to what we were used to. So did we make the challenge? I have no idea. I don't think we did. But what happened, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about tracking. What happened to us, this was us last year. We started, and looks like we started January 1st, 2022. And we did a really good job of tracking. Somewhere right about here, we moved in the summertime across the country and packed this away, and totally just by the time we got it out, I couldn't remember how many countless hours we'd been outside. So I really have no idea if we finished. I don't see that as a loss personally. Like, I was a little bummed when we unpacked it, and I was like, oh man. But I don't really see that as a loss. And the reason why is because this challenge got our family outside more. It got us more excited to go count an hour in at the park, or to go hiking on that trail. It made me more aware of trying to get outside every day, even if it's not 3 hours. If we get outside 1 hour a day, that's a huge win, because honestly, a lot of days, especially as it gets cold, or too hot, we don't get outside for an hour a day. And so, just the idea of pushing yourself to try to aim for something more than what you're used to is, in my head, a huge win. It also kind of requires you to start thinking ahead of what things are going to help you get outside more, gear wise, like certain gloves, or certain types of waterproof gear or hats, or for us, now that we've moved to a frigid area in the winter, it's like snow pants and snow gear and hats and hand warmers and things. And so it just kind of shifts your idea of okay, we want to spend this time outside. How are we going to be able to make this happen? There's a few things that really bother me about this challenge, and I kind of wanted to make this video to, one, tell you to try it. I think the first year is just a great tracking practice to see, I don't know how many hours that we could spend outside, let's see. And then the second year, you can try to beat your hours, you could try to beat your time. And that's kind of what I'm aiming for this year. So a few things that I think can really ruin this challenge and spoil it, even stress you out and make you a worse mom, is to lose sight of what the point of this is. So if the point is to get outside, if the point is to make those memories with your kids, if the point is to, increase your knowledge of nature study and slow down and, look at the changing seasons and play in the dirt and, all those things, what have you lost if you don't make the 1,000 hours? Nothing. You have won so much. What have you lost if you, downloaded the app, which I don't use, because I just don't want one more thing to have to look at my phone right now. I use my phone a lot, and I just don't want one more thing. But if you do, and it's helpful and you like it, what's the problem if you spend, 2 hours at this awesome, outdoor area, and you forgot to press the start button, so you're 2 hours off tracking. Okay, so now you're annoyed because you forgot to track it, and the time doesn't count. What have you lost? You've spent time with your family outside. So if you see, there's ways that I feel like you could really lose track of what you should be enjoying and doing, you could start to like go down that rabbit trail. And some other things that kind of I think you should be wary of is just that legalism that can come with this challenge of like, does this count? Does this count? Does this count? And Jenny apparently gets messaged like massive amounts of things in her inbox from people asking her, does this count? Does this count? Like, you know, we are ice skating, but we're indoors. Like, does this count? If you want to start a huge like argument of, you know, Facebook trolls, you could go to her Facebook group and say, you know, does camping and do sleeping hours camping count? And there are so many people who say yes and so many who say no. And the point is, some people are gonna mark that yes on their thing and some people are not. And who cares? That's my opinion. It's like, who cares? Just figure out what your goals are. You know, if getting outside and camping in your backyard is a victory for you and your family, like getting them to do that, then mark it, you know, and be happy with it. If that is progress for you, if that fits your goals, mark it. The problem starts when you start feeling like superior or inferior because you do it a certain way different than someone else who does it. So like, do this challenge, but just do it for your family. Just do it for yourself because you want to go get your kids outdoors. You know, another thing I think just to kind of be careful of if you do this is it can be exciting, especially in January. It's January right now while I'm filming this. A lot of people can be like, yay, we're starting this, and, you know, posting all these places that they're going outdoors with their kids and how long they went outdoors with their kids and hashtag 1,000 hours outside. And, you know, that's fine if you do that. I'm not saying you can't do that, but just know, like, you know, are you doing this for your family? Or are you doing this so that you can, you know, kind of like post what you did and how long you did it and get praise for that from someone else? Like, my kind of litmus test is like, would I do this with my family if no one else knew about this? If I didn't post anything about this anywhere, would I still do this? Would this still be a win for my family? And so answer that yourself. Like, nobody else can really answer that for you. Like, if you got no praise and credit online from the time that you spent outside, would this still be worth it to you? So I think if you say no to that question, you probably are not fit for it. Like, it's probably not a good fit for you. And if you would do this, which is something I'm kind of challenging myself to do this year, I'm doing it, but not posting anything about it. And for me, that's a little bit more just like personal accountability, that like, I want to do this for my family and I want to do this for me without feeling the pressure of like having to share when we do it or what we do, or necessarily like getting glory for it, if that makes sense. Because there's going to be months and times where we're like rocking it and we're outside a ton, and then there's this so far which is us not rocking it so far in January. I'm honestly just kind of like figuring out how to survive and live in freezing cold temperature part of the country. We came from like the south where it was just really temperate all year round and awesome to be outside except for the summers. And here winter is like 6 months. And so I'm just kind of figuring out like, what's a win for me? 1,000 hours might not happen. That's okay. I do want us to get outside every day. That's one of my goals. I want us to eventually spend a lot more time when it's less cold. And I want my family to figure out how to spend more time outside in those cold temperatures. Like, what do we need to make that happen? And so we've been having those conversations. It's just harder when it's cold for me. I don't like the cold. If you've never done this challenge before, I really encourage you to do it. I think it's just, the heart behind it is so awesome. It's like, get outside with your kids, make those memories, get out, track so that you have something to kind of go for. There are some really neat things out there online. If you don't do 3 hours a day and you're just like a goal person that wants to hit that 1,000 hours, there's kind of these like, in the freezing cold months, you could try and aim for an hour a day. And then in the, the beautiful, not too scorching hot months, you could aim for like 5 hours a day. So there's like there's ways that you can spread it out, I guess, if you're really trying to track hard and make those goals. If you are like me and you're a little bit more loose with it, you could say, you know, we're just going to try to get outside every day. Probably not going to happen a lot of hours in the cold winter months, but once it gets nice enough that we can like really do this outside without mom dying, then we'll try to spend most of our day outside. Now, I would just do it and track for yourself and say this year we're going to start, and then next year we're going to try to get more hours. If you make it to 300, that is a win. You know, especially if you made it outside a few more times because you were aiming to get outside more, that's a win. Then next year you could try for 350 hours or 400 hours, you know, just anything more than what you did the year before. And there are so many awesome ideas. Join Jenny's Facebook group, 1,000 Hours Outside, or just head to her Instagram and follow her there. You could get so many awesome ideas for doing more stuff outside in any temperature, any season. You know, gear recommendation. Another thing that I see out there, people are worried about if, you know, they miss the mark January 1st. No, you haven't missed it at all. Just start your day, whatever day you start, and then end it a year later. It really doesn't matter. Like, some people are going to start January 1st and they're going to be posting and, you know, telling you how many hours they have thus far in the year. Really doesn't matter for your family. You can start at any point and end the same day the next year. So hopefully this wasn't too critical. I just really want you to realize, like, this is an amazing challenge, but don't ruin it for yourself. Remember to keep the eye on the prize, which is outdoor time with your family, memories made with your family, hitting new goals that mean something to you. So also these trackers that I printed out are from her website. I'll put the link in the comments or in the description, and you can print. They've got a bunch of different cool ones that you can do for the year. We just hang it on our fridge and then the kids fill it in as we go. So I've got a cranky little guy though, and I gotta head off. So leave me any questions you have below and I will try to answer them.